Okay. Hello, everyone. What a crazy day this has been. We're here. We think you can see us on Facebook. I know you can see us on YouTube. And sorry again, we're at the mercy of Meta, Facebook, on this particular new ruling that they have. Let me, real quick, let me go ahead and introduce Randyl. Uh, Randyl Santa Chickerly is with me as always. The greatest entertainer in the world, right there. Let me tell you, the magician elite. Everyone's friend, my friend, our pal, Randy.
Thanks, Bob.
So let me kind of explain what's going on. So this morning, Angela Mack, our producer, and by the way, Carol Mack, my wife, will be filling in on the board today for Angela Mack. She's out of pocket today. And before I got so much going on, I don't know where to start here. Let's go ahead and say happy birthday to our granddaughter, Carolina's granddaughter, Angie's daughter, Jada. She turned 18 today, and she's off to get her driver's license today. So that's where Angie and her are.
Didn't work right. Happy birthday.
Love it. All right, now back to the Facebook issue. This morning, we're trying to set up the show. We've always been able to simulcast between our Tuesday Night Live Facebook group and YouTube, our channel over there. Facebook was not allowing us to set up in the group this morning. It said that third-party apps like StreamYard, which is the platform that we use to do our broadcast, and all third-party apps had been removed from Facebook groups. We finally found a workaround. They still let you do it to your Facebook profile page. They still let you do it to business pages. But they've killed it in the groups for whatever reason. I don't know. They didn't give an explanation other than that. So work. Angela finally was able to put it on her Angela Mack profile, which is her profile for the shows, and then share it from there over to our Tuesday Night Live group. And I think it's working. It seems to be working. I see the comments coming up on Facebook, so evidently we're good. We want to thank everyone for being patient with us today. It's been hectic, crazy. right after tomorrow night's show. I mean, immediately after the show's over with, Scott Seriton and I will be climbing in the Mobile and heading to Memphis. So, it's packing, it's trying to straighten out these messes, and hey, we're having fun. How about you, Randy?
You're having something, Bob. I don't know if it made it a nervous breakdown. I don't know. It's something, man. That's a lot going on. That is a lot going on.
Having an
So,
episode, brother. I'm having
but
an episode.
wow, wow.
And
Yeah,
my wife
yeah.
processed my hair for me this morning, and I
Looks
processed my
great.
beard for Memphis. So it's been busy, needless to say. The good thing is, though, it's nice and warm here. Beautiful day, sun's out. We had rain, 5.5, almost 6 inches. Was it 6 inches, Carol?
Yes, 5.5.
5.5 inches of rain in the last 48 hours. So today's a beautiful day. The storm passes, the sun comes out, the birds chirp, and the flowers all perk up. And so, hey, that's the bright side of things.
Wow, that's a lot of rain at one time. We had a lot last week, but on Saturday we even saw those little white flakes come down on
Oh my
Saturday.
goodness!
And not didn't cover anything, but we saw some of those white flakes come down on Saturday. So,
Now, hopefully, that's your last, right? I mean, you should be
really,
getting up
hopefully
there.
it's our last. But I don't know. I've seen snow on Mother's Day here in Michigan before, so now hopefully it won't happen. But
Yeah, you just never know, though. Mother
so
Nature has her own mind, as well as uh,
you always want to get outside, like the other, I mowed and all that kind of stuff, and you always want to get out, but don't do any plants. Don't do that till Memorial Weekend. Here, it's just not safe until Memorial Weekend. There could be a big frost, and boom, it's gone.
yes, it is. All right, so I'm gonna give a few shout outs here. I want to say hello to Philip Chianetto. He's joining us from California today. Glad to have you, Philip. Elizabeth Rush is on with us. Ted Flynn. AJ, Mr. Trivia is on, and he says hi. The other night he was saying hi to Carol, but he wasn't saying hi to me, and so I made a lot of it. Michael Howe's on with us.
Charlie
Uh,
Johnson, Gary Winters, is it Winter? Gary W. Linder, is that it? There we go. Sorry.
Gary Linder, that's correct. That's
Very
correct.
good.
And it looks like Santa
And
Tom
Tom,
High is joining us from Vancouver, Washington. And he says, and he's been joining us most of the season, I believe, from YouTube. He says, I like YouTube better anyway. So there you have it. There you have it, guys.
so do
And
we. It
really, I
gives us
mean,
the clicks. It gives us the clicks, so we like YouTube better too.
well, yeah, because it helps build our viewership. The more folks that do
Right.
the YouTube, as we've explained in the past, the more comments, the more likes, the more subscriptions we get, the more they push our content out, the more people we can help, the more new folks we can bring in and help. Our industry is in a little bit of a lull right now. We've had a lot of Santas, Mrs. Clauses, but mainly Santas pass away in the last 6 to 8 months. We've had quite a few retire. And so, I mean, right now there's an influx of new folks, coming into our industry, which is it's always in flux. But I think we need more because I just know that there's usually in the past more jobs that go unfilled every year, and so we need those folks. We need to get them in here. We need to share with them. We need to help train them, get them in some of the schools, and bring them up to the level of professionalism as quick as we can. So. Charlie, you know what? I think that's the one thing that got my goat the most. Charlie says, "What's up with Facebook not giving you any advance notice about third-party apps?" We, Angela and myself, have not seen anything anywhere, and wasn't really sure what was going on until about 20, 30 minutes into the ordeal this morning, and it finally popped up on our deal saying that Facebook had cut out third-party apps. So I'm not real sure. Something else that Randy and I talked about just before the show went live is this week in Memphis, we knew that Angela Mack was not going to be able to sit at the computer for 4 or 5 days all day long and produce shows for us. So we had planned on going Facebook Live, which is an option. The only bad part about Facebook Live for us is they will not let you go live in landscape. Your only option is profile. And that long, skinny, you can't hardly get two people in the picture together. You're trying to hold it out far enough for two people's. Yeah, well, it's like doing a selfie. Everybody understands selfies and how they work. Same thing. So anyway, hello, Steve Kinley. Good to have you. Diane Beans joining us today. Santa Doug's in with us. Okay, Randy, we talked about weather, and we acknowledge those who are with us today.
Yeah. Welcome,
So
everybody. Glad
at
you're
this
here.
point, we're going to ask Carol Mack to go ahead and run the Something Burger video number 2. Give us just a moment, and she'll have that up for us. All right, as usual, we got a couple of good hot topics to discuss with you today. Mine is hypothetical. Randy's is a bucket list. So let's go ahead and get Randy's bucket list question out there first.
Yeah, guys. Do you guys have a bucket list when it comes to your 2024 Santa season? I guess Santa, Mrs. Claus, or elves. Do you have a bucket list? Can you do me a favor when you're typing in there? Give the list 3 to 5 things that would really be a cool thing on your bucket list. What kind of events you'd like? If it's a parade, if it's a TV commercial, if it's do more home visits, whatever it is. What's on your is it a special a company corporate party that you want to do for, let's say, Coke, because they're a big company, or whatever? Do you have a bucket list for this year? Santa, Mrs. Clauses, or the elves? Do you guys have a bucket list?
Yeah, Randy, I know you always ask me what my opinion is here, and I'm going to make it simple for you today because that's just the kind of mood I'm in.
It's all
As
right.
long as I'm putting smiles on the children's faces, I don't give a darn what I'm doing. I just enjoy being Santa.
That's that
But
that is
yeah,
the
there's
bottom line.
parades and there's corporate events and there's print and there's movies. I mean, there's lots of stuff I think's on everybody's bucket list. But yeah, I mean, the bottom line is we just love what we're doing. And you know, you have two fields, magic and Santa world, and so
That
again, I know that makes you happy. So as long as we're happy, that's what counts.
that
And
is
we'll make
exactly
another.
what Bob said is right. As far as for me too. I mean, it's
Yeah.
if you can bring that smile and those memories. Doesn't matter if it's during a parade, if it's a house visit, if it's a corporate event or whatever. To me, that makes it's not really a bucket list because we do it all the time anyway. But the smiles, if it's a child, I was at a Santa luncheon on Saturday, and we were talking about smiles for children and all that, and and I always say sometimes it makes me more excited. And I've said this before: when you get a parent that gets excited, when you see that glimmer in a parent's eyes, that they forgot about all their things about work or fight with their husbands or the bills, and Santa made the parent uh, uh, happy and smile. But that is our bottom line, and to make those memories. So sure, it would be fun. I would love to be able to do a movie again. It would be a lot of fun. I would love to do something like that, but you don't do that in December anyway. Um, or other photo shoots would be on my list too. But the rest is just exactly what Bob said. As long as those smiles are there, it doesn't matter if it's a house, if it's a mall, if it's wherever it is. It's exactly what Bob
Warms the
said.
heart. What warms the heart?
Yes.
Let's say hi to Carl White real quick. He's joined us. Sal and Delicato, and I still hope I'm pronouncing his last name correctly, has joined us. Jeff BRBA has joined us, and Santa Scott Seriton, Ted Flynn. Real quick, real quick before we move on, I want to say this right here. Steve Kinley says, "Hello, I came back in the house and heard my computer speakers, but the screen was black. I forgot that I had the channel on, waiting for the show to start." That would be kind of weird, wouldn't
Where are those voices coming from? Ooh.
it? Yeah, it sounds like Bob and Randall.
Sorry, Steve. I didn't mean to get in your
Hello,
head that much when we met last year. I didn't mean to get that much in your head. Uh,
hello, Rick Rector. All right, Randy, let's go ahead and address some of these
yeah, let's get some
comments.
guys here. We got some good going on here. Let's see, we're right here. Here we go. Philip says he would like to do Macy's Parade, TV commercials, more guest appearances, more a movie guest appearance. Like I said, it is fun to do that, but you're not going to do that really in the holiday time. That if you're not doing that now, you probably won't do that.
That is three good ones.
Yeah, those are three. That's a free upper, list. Ted says, pretty much done everything on my bucket list. I just want to make kids happy and do a good job. And that is what we all do anyway. And that's what we all strive for, is to do that.
Yes, sir.
That is our job. That's what we're supposed to do. So,
Yes, sir.
there we go. That Jeff is volunteer visits, VA hospitals, retirement centers. Again, he says centers again is the main item on my bucket list. And I tell you, there is nothing sometimes like I made a comment about adults a minute ago. There's nothing more rewarding than going to a retirement center. They just want pictures like crazy, and they're so happy that Santa's there. If it's 70, 80, 90, whatever age they are, it's a wonderful thing. You just made their days. So that gets me right here when my mother-in-law, I went to hers on Christmas Day, just before she passed, and man, everybody was just something you can't forget as being Santa. You can't forget that feeling of what you did and how you made them feel, and that's.
Can I share a quick story here, Randy?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, one year we were doing a Lone Star Santa parade on the 4th of July in Waxahachie, Texas, and it was about a 2.5 mile parade. It's like 105 or 6 outside. Heat index was 110, and there wasn't not enough room on the float, the trailer with all the chairs for everyone to sit that came for the Lone Star Santas. So me, Darla Bicknell, and Jim Flynn decided that we would walk the parade behind the trailer. And
Wow.
the guys and ladies on the trailer were throwing candy to the kids on the side, and we were running from side to side trying to give candy and keep up with the trailer. And we got about 2/3 of the way through the parade route, and we went to turn a corner to head down to the end of it, and there was a nursing home on the corner, and they had an outdoor covered patio, and they had all of their residents out on that patio watching the parade. The ones in wheelchairs were all up along the front rail, and then the ones behind them was standing. Some that were standing, some sitting.
Wow.
And as we went by, of course, they were back, 50 yards off the corner. We waved, and they were screaming and hollering Santa and waving just like little children. And
Yeah, they
and
do.
we got about a half a block, and I looked over at Jim, and Jim says, "You know what? I want to go back and spend some time with those folks." And I said, "I'm going with you." So he and I made a U-turn, left the parade, let it go on, and we went back and spent about 15 minutes on that corner with those folks, giving
That's
them candy canes, giving them hugs, and taking pictures. One of the most rewarding times in my professional career.
it's because you know how many years are left with their lives, and you just put a smile at the end. They remember their childhood, and it's just it gets me right here every time I think about it. Excuse me. Yeah, it's good job, Bob. I mean, I'm sure we had a lot of. Sorry, I'll move on.
I'm
Because
sure
my
there's many
mother-in-law.
other stories just like that, though.
Yeah, a lot of Santas do the same thing, and Mrs. Clauses do the same thing, and that's just such a good thing to do. Santa Scott says high-end overseas gig. That would be a unique thing to do too, to get the Dubai or whatever to be like. But I guess I've always wanted to, but I know that all my regulars here, I would have to say sorry, I won't be there, and then so that's what I think. That's a cool thing though.
That would be a tough decision right there.
To say that you did it though, so that would be good. Carl White says bucket list: at least one child smiling with Santa that starts out shy and reluctant. That's a good one to make sure that you get that child that you have to work on. You get them to smile. 2, happy tears from a mom. Thumbs up on that one. Yeah, and that's where it's another TV commercial for 24. Cool. But really, the moms and dads, they there are some that don't want to be there, but there's some that then just break down, and if it's at a mall or if it's at a home, and they just let their childhood out, and that they get those tears of joy. That's a good one. Michael, how? Michael, good to see you. Well, I don't see you, Michael, but bucket list for this year is to make sure I have all the clients' needs met, especially because of lack of weekends on this leap year. Yeah, this year we have one less weekend. This year is shorter than it was last year. So that's going to be not always easy to take care of every client, because some clients might have to double up. Well, that's the only weekend that's available. So it's sometimes not going to be easy. And we all know we're
Make
going
it
to
hard on us in the clause community to try to cover those regulars that we have. May not be a lot of room to expand this year with new folks. If you had any spare time last year, if is the question here, but that's kind but that's just the way the calendar falls, and we see it coming every 7 years, so you almost have to look ahead and try to start putting a plan into place long before you get there.
Yeah, last year was the longest. This year is the shortest. The one right now
Mhm.
is the shortest. Rick says, "I love retirement homes here. I've been going there for years. It's one of my favorite visits." Yeah, I definitely agree. It's
Yep.
it's a beautiful thing to do. Santa Scott says, "Bob, you remember the article you wrote from the one staff, the city gig, elderly lady in wheelchair. Do you remember that?"
I do, and that's a great, great, great story. That's one that Scott's just one of those that tears up every time he talks about that one. It's an emotional visit for him. I'll tell you what, this week, while we're in Memphis, I'll get him on while we're on live, and I'll get him to tell that story. That way he can share it with everyone.
Oh, very cool, very cool, very cool. So I'm reading here. Bucket list this year, make clients. Um, Gary kind of said exactly. Reiterate, agrees with Michael to make sure you get all your clients taken care of, because we're one weekend shorter than every other year. But we don't all have to have the bucket list of being in a movie. We all don't need to worry about that, or do more photo things, and just we all do it for one reason, and that's to make the children and the families happier and have memories that'll last forever. So that's always top on our priority anyways. So the rest is kind of just fun and glitz to say that we did things. It
Yeah,
is it is fun to do, but
yes, it
we
is.
all
Now, picking up some of the comments that we have not come to, one here that I know I see, Tom High wants to know, does Facebook have an alternative to third-party apps? The only alternative that I know of, Tom, without doing more research, which is something we will have to try to do once we get back from Memphis, is, of course, Facebook Live. And as I mentioned earlier, the only downfall to that is you have to use the profile uh, portrait style lens. You can't turn it sideways and get landscape and get it wide. So anyway, thank you for asking that. Tom also says full time, high end resort, and train major parade. So high end resort, train, and major parade for Tom. And Rex Ray says done most of mine. I'm reading these off of YouTube, Randy.
okay. Yeah, those
I
are on
think
YouTube.
Charlie's came up with retirement centers are great. The seniors are like little kiddos, maybe not. So we kind of have just a 15, 20-second difference. So I'm trying to catch them over here, and they may be popping up over here now. Tom also says, would love to break the ice here in Portland, Vancouver area with photographers. Only very few do Santa photo. Yeah, Tom, I think we would all love to do Santa minis, as a lot of the photographers call it, or portraits. I'm lucky enough to have, people that I work with. Randy has in the past, you still do portraits, uh, Santa minis, don't you, Randy?
You love.
Photographers.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Wow, it didn't
Yeah.
register.
Yeah. Tom says next year is too short, and Steve Kinley says my bucket list is easy. Get my first gig.
Steve did a great job as the Easter Bunny. He looked now with his new bunny costume. He'll be fantastic with Santa. He's really, really taking it to heart. Beard's looking good, Steve. To let you know.
All right, Randy. I didn't mean to jump in there, but those
Oh
I
no,
wasn't
no,
sure if
we
you
got to.
understood.
You've got those things. I don't see them, so I apologize.
Yeah, I've got my big monitor over here split 60/40 with Facebook live or our show live on Facebook here and the script, and then got StreamYard on my laptop here, and on my old laptop over here I have YouTube. So I've got it. I've got
Yeah,
comments everywhere.
yeah. I should put YouTube on the laptop so I can read those. I can see those at the same time as my phones
Yeah,
for Facebook
I
and
split my screen, which that way you can have two different
easier to
things up
see
on one
straight.
screen.
Yeah.
Doesn't work real good on a 15-inch laptop,
No,
but
no.
if you've got a larger monitor, that works great. All right, is that?
Yeah, yeah.
Let's
Let's
see.
see.
Did
Rick's
we
got
get Rick
something.
Richter's? Okay,
Not
there's
yet.
Rick.
Rick says, any tips I had for the first year, Mrs. Claus last year? She was really nervous. She is gonna be with me this year. Well, great. That's the thing. Just let her get the toe wet, and she'll be bitten by the bug and be fantastic, Rick. So just
I think we've all. I don't know anybody that went into it and wasn't nervous or had anxieties or nervous anxieties or nervous energy, whatever you want to call it. That first year, those first few uh, gigs that you do. I can remember when Santa Scott started. He went down to one of the big box stores in Houston, Texas, from Oklahoma City down to Houston, Texas, and on his way, we were talking on the phone, and he was telling me how nervous he was, and he wasn't sure if he could do this. And I told him, I said, dude, go in there and be yourself, and within the first 5 minutes of sitting in that chair, you'll be a natural. And he called me that night and said, "Man, you're right. It just all that goes away once you start, doesn't it?" And I said, "It does. It just goes away. You just
does
fall
it.
right into character and go fall back on your training." And that's something that Santa Scott has here. A word of advice for Rick. Go ahead, Randy.
Sorry, which one did we read? I missed
Santa
Mr.
Scott.
Santa Scott.
Rick, work on your
There we
backstory.
go, Rick. Rick, work on your backstory with her for just to tell her to act like you are married, and she can get after you for being naughty. And it
That's
is.
right.
It's like a married couple. Just do your basic bantering because you're gonna do your backstories and know where you met and everything else, and so you already know those things as long as you guys come up with the same story each. Just it's just being fluid, and the children just play off that because you can tell they're married. Mrs. That's Mr. and Mrs. Claus, that's Santa and Mrs. So it's yeah.
Charlie reiterates the same thing.
You get your backstories down so you can presenting the same info for the kids. Uh, Walk into the event arm in arm. That's always nice to have Santa put their arm out and Mrs. Claus. It looks so nice. It does. Just walk-ins. It's not that it's regal. It's just so cool looking. It's like Santa and Mrs. Claus is here. Look at that. It's you don't have to be screaming ho ho ho. Just the look of Santa and Mrs. Claus walking in that way just looks so cool. Whoops, I went too far. The goal is the sky for Sal. My goal is to fill every weekend in December. I don't think you'll have a problem. There's not many of those because it's shorter. Bob wasn't nervous at a big box store. Well, the first time you sure are. Those first days are they
You have a lot of questions in your mind going into it. You're just not sure.
yep.
I wouldn't call it nervous. I would call it more just the anticipation of getting there and getting started. I think is what it really is.
And see, I always have that when I know I'm going to, let's say, a different type of event. Last year I was at Motor City Casino, and it was like it's more the anxiety of not knowing where I'm going to park, how far you got to walk as Santa, who you're going to meet along the way. What's so some of those things are just that more about the venue, more about the logistics of it. even though they can tell you, oh, you valet, you this, you that. Um, those sometimes are more the anxiety than just being Santa.
Scott puts up the comment. He says, "I was a complete wreck."
Completely a wreck.
He wasn't nervous. He was a complete wreck. So,
Oh,
and
we've all been through that, Scott. Believe me, many times and many different things. Oh, that's not a. That's. I think everybody could probably type that line in. To be honest, in their years of being Santa or Mrs. Claus or an elf, I think we all could agree with that one. A complete wreck with how you are.
yeah, I've shared this time and time again, but I'm going to share it again right here because it's a good place to share it. But when we first started these two shows, Monday and Tuesday, the first time we went live, oh my God, was a nervous wreck. I was shaking in my boots, and it wasn't the fear of doing it; it was the fear of making a donkey out of myself, which I do anyway. That's part of the fun, right? I
Just
mean, you
go
guys
for it.
laugh
Yeah,
at me or laugh
might as well
at me,
just
I don't care.
yeah, just take off all the wraps and just go for it. Don't worry about
That's
it.
it. It's live.
Yeah, that's right. That's okay.
Tom says he still gets nervous and anxious before every event.
Well, that's
All right,
it.
Randy.
Also,
It
like I think Bob said,
like
that
he's
it also gets yourself going if you're a little anxious, a little nervous about it. It also gets you, like when I have a magic show or whatever, I get, it doesn't. I get a little nervous, but it helps your performance a little. It gets your awareness a little bit more on edge. I shouldn't say edge
yeah.
on the end.
I think one thing that really helped me was the years of racing cars. You couldn't help but be nervous when you buckled up. You put your helmet on, you
No
cinch
way.
those belts down tight, and the engine's running. You're just waiting for them to give you the cue to go out on the track and line up to start the race. And you're coming to the green flag. And I mean, I have been so nervous. And it wasn't just my first year; it was every time I went on the racetrack that my stomach would knot up, and I'd almost feel like I was going to be sick to my stomach at times. But I mean, it's just I guess it kind of helped me a little bit, but I still had that, just not as bad.
Yeah, I can see that being. I don't know how you can drive that close to each other. At that kind of speed.
It's definitely I mean, just one slight mistake, and I don't know how many of you watched NASCAR. If you still watch NASCAR, I happened to tune in yesterday for the last 19 laps in Talladega. That's a big 2+ mile track, and it never fails. They have a big crash somewhere within the last 3 to 4 laps. And yesterday was no different. Coming to the checkered flag, one guy tried to make a block. Next thing you know, he's sideways. He was leading the race. He's sideways in front of the whole pack of cars, and they just start bouncing off each other. I mean, it's just, anything can happen so fast at those speeds.
and so close. I'm sorry, it being so close. It freaks me out going to the highway here, and I don't like get more than 3-4 car lengths close to the guys that are nuts here. Then if you're 3 or 4 inches away,
And those guys were going 200 mile an hour in a car
yeah,
that was twice as heavy as what I raced in at 125 to 130 down the straightaway. So, I mean, but it still happens fast. Believe me, it still happens
sure
fast. No
does.
matter what class you're in. I went from one of the faster classes down to one of the slower classes my last couple of years. Started aging and stepped back a little bit and drove for a couple of other guys and things still happen quickly. It's just kind of more like a slow motion leading up to it, where the faster cars, it really happens fast. But anyway, that's all beside the point. Scott said, we were just talking about doing the show, and some dummy said, okay, let's do it now. That dummy was Scott. He reached over and Ron pushed the live button, and we were on live.
Yeah.
It was just by chance that we happened to go live the first time just to see if we could do it.
Charlie
Charlie has
says,
one there for you.
it says, just don't become complacent. The kids will pick up on that. Yeah, we don't want to. And this is a line that a lot of people use in the entertainment business is don't just phone it in. Um, don't phone in. Don't phone in you being Santa or Mrs. Claus or no. Just and the children will pick up on that. Really, just I don't want to be here today. I'm just gonna hi. How are you? It just doesn't. It doesn't work.
Sal's got a good one there.
All righty, here. When working at a venue like casino, you need to have the logistics done ahead of time. special entrance exits, get your spot, especially casinos. You have a problem in running and intoxicated people. Yeah. I had it the first year, at the time, the state trooper almost came out of character to deal with the person. After that was pre-planned for the entrance and exit. Yeah, I mean they told me to go to valet, drop my car off. There'll be somebody there to pick me up, walk me up there. But it yeah, it's that's I agree, Sal. That's it's cool to do a venue like that, but it is you got to have everything to a T, and I just get a little anxiety from that. I see Deborah's on. Welcome, Deborah.
Got
Um,
to have eyes in the back of your head on those
yeah,
kind of events.
because everybody's yelling they want a picture, and there's drunks, and there's this and that. They're all and they don't understand why you can't stop and take a picture with everybody and anybody. Um, you've got to keep on going. You've got an event to get to, so yeah. But that's not a bad thing when we're Santa and Mrs. Claus and all that. It's not a bad thing to do fun things like that and to have people want to be with us. Because again, we're making memories for those people. Even if they're drinking too much, remember them. They'll have a picture.
Rick Rector has a good one. He says, "Has anyone had a wrestling show hire them?"
A wrestling show.
That would be fun. I like to do. I used to do birthday cards for all my friends until I got way too many friends I couldn't keep up. But on Facebook, one year I did one for Mick Foley, the professional wrestler, and it was he and I standing in the ring, face to face, and it was pretty cool. I shared it for several years. It was fun, but that's as close as I've got, Rick. it's, there's a fabricated, photoshopped picture of me with Mick Foley.
Oh goodness. Deborah says, "Whoops, where are we at?" Yeah, Deborah says, "My Santa did a craft show at a casino." Yeah, there's so many things you can do at the there, especially if you got a booking agent to get. There's still um, there are all the rooms and different events that go on. It's not just I was I was in the event center. Okay, here in Grand Rapids is Ted. Here in Grand Rapids, so we have a professional wrestler that's a Santa now, huh? And he's a great Santa. I didn't
Yeah,
know
that's
that.
cool.
Well, you have
Yeah.
to let me
Well,
know,
and
Ted, who that is.
yeah,
I'm curious.
Mick Foley performs as Santa. Not as much into Facebook now because with his uh, wrestling fame, when he came in as a Santa, everybody flocked to him, and before you knew it, it was out of control for him. So he did away with his Facebook altogether and put out a business type page, and someone else handles it for him. And so he's, you don't hear a whole lot out of Mick anymore. But another great Santa who has done some really great things within the industry. So
Yeah, great, Santa Joe. Great, thank you,
Santa Joe is his name. He says.
Santa Joe. Oh, gotcha, Ted.
Rick says he had a few wrestling shows, one or two that incorporated me into the storyline of the show. See, that's perfect, Rick. That's the way you want it. Be part of the show.
Just don't get body slammed. You don't want that to happen.
Right. No.
No
Okay,
elbow.
golly, Randy, we
Well,
went on
great, man.
forever.
That was a great job, guys. As always, thank you so much for all your participation. It's fantastic.
We were all over
Excellent.
the place there with their answers and with me
Yeah.
throwing my 2 cents worth in. So let's move on to question number 2. Now, this, like, as I mentioned, is a hypothetical. So, hypothetically speaking, 340 hours a season or 340 days a year. 340 hours in a season or 340 days a year. If a hiring agent calls and says, "I have 2 jobs that are perfect for you, but obviously you can only pick one. Job 1 is a chair job for the Christmas season at a high end location. Job number 2 is at a theme park performing as a Claus and is a combination of sitting and strolling." What would you prefer there? That kind of goes hand in hand with what Randy asked and some of the answers that we got about your bucket list. So these 2 questions play off of each other. Mine's a hypothetical, though. I'm going to take it to the next level. 340 hours a season or 340 days a year. See now, when you look at Phil at the park that he's at, he works about 340 days a year. He gets very little time off each year, maybe a month or two, whatever it is. Maybe it's not quite 340, but the numbers, I did that for the numbers. On average, mall, you're going to work around 300, 350 hours. So 340 was just a good round number that I threw in there. It was hypothetical. Santa Randy says 340 a season, that's good because it gives you plenty of hours at even at base rate, the lowest of the base rate. That's still a chunk of change when you look at it for the season. And I don't know how a 340 a year type of job would pay. I've never discussed it with Phil Wentz or anybody else, so I'm not real sure. But hey, hypothetical.
See, I'd take the number 2 just because you could do a little bit of everything. You do a
Right.
little combination of a sitting, standing, strolling, interaction. I would do that.
The job at the mall would be so much more fun if on those first couple of weeks when it's fairly slow, or on those days like Mondays and Tuesday mornings when there's not a lot of people in the malls and you're not doing a lot. If you could get up and stroll around and kind of walk to the food court or walk through the mall and greet people and, hey, come on down to the Santa set, get pictures with me type of deal. But they don't allow that. We have to stay right there within the corral. AJ, Angela is not with us today. She is out with Jada. Today is Jada's 18th birthday. And Carol Mack, my wife, is doing the board today. I'll have to get with her and check and see if you're free yet.
It says you are free. It says on the list here. It says
Okay, she just put that up. You are free. You're free, AJ. Roam, run. Okay, Charlie says, with my other interests and volunteer commitments, I would have to pick the 340 hours during the season. See, again, if you do a lot of stuff in July and you do print or other things throughout the months of the year, that would have to be your choice because you wouldn't be free to do, 10 and a half, 11 months out of the year. Ted says the same thing. Give me 340 hours of season anytime. Yeah, and there are some guys that go to Anchorage, Alaska, or North Pole, Alaska, and work, long, 3-4 months at a time. And so there are a few of those jobs out there. They're few and far between, but they are out there. Okay, Randy. Well, my hypothetical didn't get me any answers, so which would be your choice, Randy?
It would be like I said, the number 2. Just because it gives you a little bit of both. It gives me a little bit of both.
Well, and with your magical performance
Yeah.
and everything you do, you're pretty much working year round anyway. So
Yeah. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
Right now I'm not, but I will be back hopefully real soon to working again. It's driving me nuts not performing.
Boy, I know it is.
Oh man, it's just like you call, you get a thing. Can you do the job? No, I'm sorry, I'm not available. No.
Okay, so jumping over to YouTube, I want to pick up a few of these over here. Rex Ray, our brother, says chair job every time for him. Santa Doug says, I would like the theme park, just might have a better option to perform more. That's true. That would be a chance to maybe even, I know, like Six Flags Entertainment Group, they have some, different roles that Santa can do, performance stage. I mean, there's different things within theme parks, so that is a good option. And Tom says theme park, back to bucket list, Pikes Peak, North Pole. We mentioned this a few weeks ago when Tom mentioned it. If you have not been to the Pikes Peak, North Pole, and you get up into Colorado Springs, go see it. It's at the bottom of the Pikes Peak, so you don't have to go into the park to get to it. I'm speaking of the national park or Pikes Peak Park itself, where you go through the ranger's booth, but it is at the foot of it as you coming off the main road leading up to the pass. So, all right, let's see. Hours and work walking around for Philip and Santa Randy here in Texas. Neely says, still praying for you, Randy. Okay. I think that's going to cover it, Randy. Okay,
too.
Carol, are you ready to play video 3?
Mhm.
All right, here we go, Randy. You ready?
Sounds good.
SantasCloset.org.
Hey everyone, Angela Mack here for Bob, Randall, and Company Live, the show about nothing. Season 3 of Bob Randall and Company Live is brought to you by SantasCloset.org, where you can find all your accessories for the discriminating Santa, Mrs. Claus, and the elves. Visit Santa Wade's website at santascloset.org today, where they are known for delivering unique, value-packed Santa and Mrs. Claus accessories since opening in 2004. The goal has always been to provide both a superior customer experience at a tremendous value. Their products are fairly priced, and Santa Wade strives to bring many different products to the Claus community. Visit the website and make your next season a truly special one. This is Angela Mack reminding you all to catch our show every Monday at 3 p.m. Central. Thanks for watching. Now let's get back to Bob, Randall, and Company Live and today's Monday Santa's Closet Trivia.
You know the commercial where Mikey likes it, the old cereal commercial. Michael Howell says, "Ours love the flexibility." Mikey loves it.
Mikey. Good old.
That ought to make him giggle. All right, Randy, you ready?
Hey, ready? Let's get in one of those other fun little questions with all the blanks, guys. Here we go. On this date, April 22nd, blank, a musical that was adapted from a theatrical stage opened at blank in blank and ran for blank performances, winning 5 Tony Awards and a Grammy Award. Again, on this date, April 22nd, blank, a musical that was adapted from a theatrical stage opened at blank in blank and ran for blank performances, winning 5 Tony Awards and a Grammy Award. So we need, on all those blanks, we need the theater, the year, of course, the theater, the city, the number of performances, and the name of both of the musicals and the writer. Whew, that's a lot. So there's actually 1, 2, 3, 4.
We got some tough hombres out there that really do great on trivia. And Mr. Trivia, AJ is one of them. Charlie Johnson, Carl White. These guys are all really good at these trivia questions. So we went a little easy on the Tuesday show last week on the second question, so I felt compelled to go hard at them today.
It's a good one. It's a one that I saw quite a few times. Not just the musical. I saw the movie and everything else quite a few times. So it's a good one.
Probably went and seen the performers too.
Yep. So
yep. And I had gunpowder in my oats this morning, so
he likes it. Bobby likes it. Goodness gracious. Who was the quickest there? That'll be up to Carol to make that the.
Yeah, I'll have to probably, while you're doing Santa tips, I'll probably have to go over and make sure that I can help her make sure we get the right one, but we will do that. So now we're not going to play the Elf Chatterbox News video today. We're going to skip video number 4 and we're going to go straight into it. Then this is Elfin Chatterbox News. Know a lot's got to doubt. Don't forget the TNL Productions will be attending the IC 24 in Memphis. We'll be covering the event the best we can with what we have to work with. And of course, if you're there for the IC Memphis over the next 5 or 6 days, drop by the booth. Once we get the booth set up, you'll see the Tuesday Night Live back drops going with us. And let us chat with you, say hi. And if you've got a moment, maybe we'll get a word or two with you on video.
Be a lot of fun. There'll be a lot of great Santa, Mrs. Claus, and elves down there in Memphis. It'll be a lot of great classes. In fact, Michael is on. He's teaching a class with Herbie, so he'll be there teaching.
Sure.
So there's some a lot of great talent out there teaching at Memphis. So
Oh, there's a ton. Derek Dugan, and of course, I mean, there's too many to list. Let's put it that
yeah,
way.
yeah, it's too
For a
many to list,
complete
but
schedule, including workshop times, presenters, and topics, go to the International Santa Celebration Facebook group. It's all listed there. Howie Graham has done a great job of getting that stuff out, and I know it came out a little bit late, but it is there now. I'm actually going to take and print that out and take copies with me. That way, I don't have to go fumbling in my Facebook. You're looking for
good
it.
idea.
Plus, my phone's going to be tied up, with the production end of things. So I'm gonna go ahead and print me out a copy and carry with me.
That's a good one. Very good. But that's coming up real soon. You guys are leaving tomorrow night, you said, right?
As soon as the show is over, and I can jerk this backdrop down, we're going to have everything else loaded,
Good.
except for the handful of things that we'll be using. And we're going to head out. We got a reservation in Arkadelphia, Arkansas, and going to drive us about 3.5 hours. So we'll get in there 11:30, 12 o'clock Central Time, and get up next morning, eat breakfast, and head on over to Memphis. Should take about 4.5 hours to get on to Memphis. So we'll be there shortly after lunchtime. I hope. I hope everything's
Fantastic.
safe for sure.
Yes, safe travels when you go. That's everybody's traveling. Please stay safe while you're driving. Take your time.
I noticed yesterday that there was a couple of people that had already left was flying in. I know I seen one post where I don't remember who it was, but they had like a 2 or 3 hour layover here in Dallas at DFW Airport before they went on to Memphis. And also seen Phineas the Elf was traveling back west to do some business this weekend, and he had a little short layover in Dallas yesterday also.
Yeah, Santa
And then
Chris
and Sean White was here all week long from up in your neck of the woods. She came down to visit Betty and Betsy and fun stuff that they done together. So everybody's in a traveling mood. It must be springtime.
love to travel, but
All
sounds
right,
fun
Randy,
to me.
you want to cover
Alrighty.
the SOS?
Of course, the School of Santa is always something we got to talk about every week, and because we don't want you to miss, there are a couple of seats left. Again, I don't know how Spangle's using that shoehorn to get a few more people in there, but it's for Branson, Missouri, the School of Santa, July 18th, 19th, 20th, and 21st. Down, of course, Branson, Missouri. Of course, the keynote speaker we talk about all the time is Jeff McMullen. How can you not say enough about Jeff? He's got I want to say a couple prayers for Jeff this week. He's having some extra health things going on. So everybody say a couple extra prayers for Jeff also. Of course, he does Kringle U and everything else. He'll be the keynote speaker besides other speakers there. Of course, that's where entertainment and education mix. So don't miss it. Figure out how to get those last two in there. Here in Michigan, coming up the first weekend in May, Santa Ana University is coming up May 2nd, 3rd, 4th in Birch Run. That's coming up real soon. Then the first weekend in June is CPW here in Michigan, and it's going to be at the Reindeer Farm. Yes, you can actually get your pictures with the reindeer and all that for the CPW 2. It's the second course for Performers Workshop. And of course, then we'll talk more about the Red Suit Conclave that MAPS puts on in August coming up. But that's a little ways away. We'll tell you more about that. There's always something going on when it comes to education and everything in this business. That's what makes it so good. So many people spend so much time and effort to make other people good or want to help out other people. That's what's just amazing about this group of holiday performer people. It's mind-boggling.
Yes, I agree. All right, I'd like to mention here on tomorrow's Tuesday Night Live show, we will have our second installment for this month of the North Star segment. That is a segment that a video by Jessica Rosa, Holiday Photo Magic, and it will be about customer relationship management, CRM, what it is and why it is a real game changer. If you've often wondered about customer relationship management, there's different apps out there. We know Roger Minton has the Kringle Tracker, which is one that most of the guys now are using because it is a complete, does everything you want it to do. It probably could even cook you breakfast with oats and some gunpowder in it. I'm not real sure, but we'll find out.
Tastes good
Anyway,
grits.
yeah, for sure. Also want to mention, if you're coming to Memphis, bring your Claus cards. Scott Serton and myself will have our cards in our booth. We'll be willing to trade with anyone that we haven't traded with before now. And if you got your cards and you want to trade, bring them on by and let's do some trading, some swapping. All right, Randy, let's move on into the upcoming guests and shows. We want to talk about tomorrow night's show. Now, this is going to be a fun one. This is one, we've had, speaking of bucket list, we've had a number of folks on our bucket list that we wanted to get on the show ever since our second season started, basically. And we fulfilled a lot of those, but this is one that we finally are able to grab. April 23rd, tomorrow night, Heidi Tibbles, Santa Costumes UK, and she is Spangle and her are exclusive sales distributor for North America. Spangle is her exclusive sales distributor for North America. Her and Spangle will be together at a Airbnb that Spangle has arranged for him and Jetta and Heidi and Heidi's granddaughter and a couple other folks are all sharing. So they'll be together. We'll be doing the show tomorrow night. They'll be up in Memphis. We'll still be here in Mesquite. Scott should be here by the time the show starts. If he's not, he'll come dragging in during the show. But either way, going to be fun. Wow. Randy, I'm going to let you go from there because Chris, well, you tell them about Chris.
Santa Chris and his wife Kim, Santa Chris Terry, is there basically a new Santa and Mrs. Claus. They'll be on. He's called Old Town Santa, which is a cool name because he lives in an old town of Leonard up here. In fact, he was on his way to they're on their way to Memphis today. They left this morning. So, but he is that new Santa that's very hungry, that wants to learn, that wants to get so excited about everything, that just and Kim is that typical Mrs. Claus that wasn't too sure to begin with, kind of like the comments earlier, and got her toes wet and boom, she's gung ho, looking great. So they've done a lot of parades and a lot of things for their short time being Mr. and Mrs. Claus, and it's always great to see the dynamics of that play out. It's really a beautiful thing. So don't miss that on April 30th. Then a week later already, yes, it's already then May 7th. Chris Burton, he's the owner entertainer of PJ Magical Effect Events in Kentucky. Does magic, does puppetry, does all kinds of stuff. Some very cool things you're going to learn. Some neat props. And just he's been a performer, not just Santa, performs all year. So which is what a lot of Santas do is take that performance thing and add it to add it to Santa Claus for the season. So don't miss May 7th for Chris Burton on that one. And of course, then we talked about Jeff McMullen. He'll be here May 14th. Santa Mac, same thing. He is a performer, 30 years in Ringling Brothers. Jeff will talk about everything, and you'll just be on the edge of your chair listening to the gentleman because of his soft, warm sense of the way he talks. He'll talk about his years in the Ringling Brothers. He'll talk about his shed. Again, say a few prayers for Jeff. He's having some extra things going on this week. So but that's May 14th. And man, don't miss again. Tuesday nights are always free. So you can watch them on YouTube, watch them on Facebook anytime. So look at the people that are on here. Just a real diverse mix of entertainers and holiday performers. There's always something to learn, always something to laugh about, always something to bring a smile to our face and my face when I watch. So don't miss them. Tuesday nights.
Right. We've got the best viewers, folks in the audience.
Man,
it's
phenomenal.
Facebook. These guys are here week in, week out. They're dedicated to helping us share and teach and just make our show what it is. I want to thank you all again for that. Real quick, I haven't talked to Chris Burton about this, but I'm hoping that he will bring Splat That is his platypus hand puppet that he has. And I'm hoping that he'll bring that. He is quite the puppeteer.
Yeah, he's a
Okay.
real fun entertainer.
Going to be a great couple of months coming up. And gosh, we're getting closer to School of Santas. We're halfway through May at the end of that list and just a couple of 3 weeks away from Branson. So where did heck did this year go?
It's going to be half over real soon, and then wow, it's,
Unbelievable. All right, Randy, we're going to jump over the trivia answers for this moment, and we're going to go ahead and get Miss Carol. Let's play Santa's Tips, video number 5, and let you go ahead and do your segment, and she and I are going to work on the winner.
sounds good to me. Hi, everybody. Good to see everybody again. Thank you again for letting me do Santa's Tips. I'm gonna have to move this down a little bit, I think, or is it I got to move up? I'm not sure how this. I gotta move it back. Maybe that'll work better. Look out! I didn't mean to do that. I thought I had it in the right spot, but I guess I didn't. Do that, and there we go. I just want to show you something. See if I can do that. There we go. Hopefully everybody can see that just about the way that is. Maybe I'll move back a little bit. Actually, this is it's a magic prop that I picked up. And I think it's a lot of fun. It's small. It's a lot of fun to interact with the children. Doesn't probably work at a mall or a big box store. But if you're doing a home visit, especially if you've got an elf or a Mrs. Claus, and they want to do something to get the children all kind of, I shouldn't say worked up, but in a way it is. So, but I'm going to do it as Santa, and the way I've done it on videos before, which is always a great thing to do when you do virtual this way. And I always say, oh, I have it. Oh, my elf Bernard, of course, Bernard came along and said, oh, Santa, I've got a wonderful trick to show you. And I said, oh, really? I'd love to see it. He goes, oh, yeah, Santa, look in here. And one is a picture of Mrs. Claus. Oh, that's so cool. And one is a picture. Oh, my goodness. There we go again. I'm as graceful as a, you know what? Oh, my goodness. What happens when you get old? I'm not getting old. I've been old. Where'd that thing go? Try this again. Boy, oh boy. There we go. Let's try this again. That'll work. And of course it says, there's a Santa and Mrs. Claus. And Bernard said, it is so cool. They switch places. Oh, magically they switch places. So I said, okay, let's try this. We put the cover on just like that. And we go, boom, boom, just like that. They switch places. Oh, they did. They switched places so quickly. And then the hardest part, Bernard said, is to switch them back. Oh, he said it's very, very difficult to have them switch back. Then boom, boom, you got to go boom, boom again and see how they came back. Isn't that amazing? How? What do you mean? You don't believe me that they switched? Let's try it again. Let's try it again. Remember, Santa on this side. Santa, and then all you've got to do is just see that, and they go boom, 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 and see they switch. See, isn't that amazing? What do you mean no? Oh, just let's try it. It is very cool. It is very, very, oh, it is very, very neat how they switch places again. It is fantastic how they do. See now Mrs. Claus is back here, and of course Santa. Oh, come on, Santa. There we go. There we go. I know you're here. Put that out of the way. We don't want to knock anything else off the table, which I usually do. But see, what do you think? I cheated? Oh, you think there's a Santa on the back of here? And you think there's a Mrs. Claus on the back here? Oh, I don't think so. But I'll be glad to turn them around. I'll be glad to turn them around with no problem. I'll turn one this way and I'll turn one that way. Isn't that wonderful? No. Oh, you want me to turn them the other way? I don't know why it makes any difference if I turn them that way. If I turn them that way, there's kind of the same. No. Of course, but this time the children are just losing their mind because they want to see the back of the thing so bad. And they say, well, I really have to show you a picture of Bernard. Of course, that's Bernard. He's the elf that made this trick. And of course, you all know the famous reindeer of all. Of course, that's Rudolph. So it's a fun little thing. It was adapted from a magic trick called Hippity Hop Rabbits years ago. But it's a fun little thing. It's small to bring along with you to get the children kind get them wound up. It's always fun. Not saying we need to get the children wound up sometimes, but it is. It's a fun little magic trick. They're not that much money. They're small. They're small to get. Let me get this out of the way before I knock it over again, like knowing me. But there's so many uses for a small little trick like that to get the children. And again, it's not meant for a mall. It's not meant for a big box store. It's great when you do. I know Michael is on. He does a regular show sometimes. He has a regular magic table and everything, and you bring it along and you get the children interaction with that. Or even it's wonderful at a house visit. It takes up no room in your bag, your whatever, or Mrs. Claus's purse, and it just takes little time. And it fills the time with something different. A little bit of magic, a little bit of fun. You can use a spring wand with it. You can use other things with it to enhance it and have some fun with it. But look them up. It's called this is called Santa. It's a hippity hop Santa is what it's called, but it's based on a magic trick that came out in the 50s or 40s called hippity hop rabbits. But it's adapted to Santa and Mrs. Claus, and you can make your own story. It doesn't matter if elf, of course, if an elf does it, it's not the same story as I did, but it's a great thing to do. It's fun. It gets them interaction, and that's what we love to do, get the interaction with the children, get them thinking they know how it's done. Of course, then Santa does the magic or elf does the magic at the end, and it's not how they think it is. So thank you. I just want to show you a couple of fun things. We'll see you again real soon. Maybe we'll have an answer for the trivia question. Remember, there's a lot of blanks. Thank you, guys.
There are a lot of blanks. I'm conversing with AJ, and I'm doing it where everybody can see. Not doing it behind the scenes here. And he has everything correct except for the number of performances, and I'm trying to see if he could come up with that. Steve Kentley also puts in that he don't remember the rest of the question, so I'm going to read the question again for everyone real quick. Like, on this date, April 22nd, blank, which we're looking for the year, a musical that was adapted for theater stage opened at blank, we're looking for the theater, and blank, we're looking for the city, and it ran for blank performances. This is what's tripping everybody up right here. It won 5 Tony Awards and a Grammy Award. We also need to know who.
No pun intended.
No pun intended. The name of the stage production and who wrote that stage production. And Carol Mack has got all that up on the screen there. She's switching backwards and forth between the two parts of the question. AJ first said 5 performances, then he said 708. He's still shy. It's more than that. It's less than 1,000. We get that? You got a winner. And Charlie Johnson and Steve Kentley are the only other two that are in the running at this point with the answer. So, all right, I'll tell you what, we're going to let them work on that. See what we got. Any new comments coming up here? Steve, you got that last one right. The one before it was not, but the first one you got right. Oh, excuse me, you got both those right. I'm sorry, duh. So both the Steve's new answers are correct. We're still looking for the number of performances, which is phenomenal when you think about it, Randy.
That's a lot of performances. That's a lot. That's a big number. Yeah, that's
And that's why it was so popular. See what Charlie's got here.
it doesn't have the amount of performances in it. Yeah, it doesn't. There you go.
He's got and ...
Steve just put a thing in just now.
Yeah, I see that. I think if he's got all the other answers, which I do believe he does, let me make a quick look here. Got the year, got the theater, got the band. Looks like Steve's going to end up getting it. Sorry, Charlie.
Sorry, Charlie. What? Hey, that would be a good thing for a tuna commercial.
And a commercial. That's what I was thinking to myself. Sorry too, AJ. And boy, AJ was close, and I tried to help him out. But hey, he'll live to be Mr. Trivia again next week. I'm sure he will.
Yeah.
All right, looks like our winner is going to be Mr. Steve Kinley.
Steve Kinley.
Steve, if you will, my friend, send me in a private message your full mailing address, and I will get that over to Wade Kaufman at santascloset.org and get your trivia prize winnings out to you. Congratulations, Steve. That's the way to keep working it, buddy. Never give up. Never give up. All right, so let's go ahead and review the whole answer. On this date, April 22nd, 1993, a musical that was adapted for theatrical stage opened at St. James Theater in New York City and ran for 899 performances, winning 5 Tony Awards and a Grammy. The band, The Who, and the musical was The Who's Tommy, and that was written by no other than himself, Mr. Pete Townsend.
Then it went on for how many years as a movie, and it just
Yeah, I mean, there was more I could have put in there. That was more.
yeah. That was
a couple of the answers. I mean, there's a lot that goes with that.
a lot goes with it. Yeah, that's
I made it complicated, but I try not to overcomplicate it. So, but anyway, fantastic job, guys. Just for future reference, to make this a little bit easier on everyone, the source that I use for on this date is Google on this date in history, and it'll give you all kinds of things. And that way, if we happen to have another one on this date, then you go to that page and scroll down it and find what we're looking for. Man, I'm so easy. I'm trying to help everyone out here. Okay, so at this point, let's go ahead and get into Nightcap. This is our short Christmas story, 3 to 5 minute story that you can tell at any event that you do as a Claus, Mrs. Claus, Santa, Elf, it doesn't matter. We all like to read stories, do stories, tell stories. And this week we're going to review My Little Christmas Cookie. Nicole Edwards is the author. Natalie Marshall is the illustrator. The book is in board book form. If you're not familiar with that, that is where the pages have cutouts so that you can see through to the next page behind it. And it's a very cool little interactive book for children. It's great to tell a story off of. And if you want to pass the book around afterwards, they can see the holes. They can feel the texture because some of the parts are raised. Really cool. Silver Dolphin Books is the publisher, October 26, 2021. It is in English, and it's the number of pages is 18. And we're going to get Carol to run video number 6 here, if you will.
Wow.
Well, you know what? Charlie is such the asset to the show. He always goes over and picks up a link where you can find the book. This week he listed the target.com. And if you're interested in buying that book, I'm sure that's probably one of the cheaper places to buy it. But great book for your book bag,
What's
and a
fun with
great story that children love.
with all the little things that you can interact with them, especially at a home visit. You're sitting there close with everybody, and they can. That's that's another interaction that I just love to do instead of just reading a story. That's really fun. That's good find.
For your larger groups, it would be something you'd have to pass that book around
Right.
afterwards, after the story was over. But if you've got a small group of 5 to 10, 12, maybe 15 children, they're all right around, it's really easy to interact with them and show them the book as you go. Our puppy dog's acting up in there. And uh, normally we would put her up, but we lost our oldest puppy last week. And she's kind of got some separation anxieties right now because the other puppy has always been her. She was the older one. And so, anyway, we left her out today, and naturally, she's going to bark. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. Couple of things I want to grab real quick here. Charlie says $6.69 at Target. Can't beat that. Cheap enough. Tom High wants to know if what type of bag you use to carry your magical props in, and do you have a assistant that helps you?
I'll have to show it one day. I have it put away. I'll show the size bag that I usually carry stuff in. It's not that big. I had a friend of mine made it. She does some seamstress work, and so it's not that big of a bag. I mean, if you're doing a big show, it's totally different. Then you bring a big table, which I can show. But just for things, that's why a lot of things I like to show they're a little smaller to put in there, um, so you can rotate and just carry a smaller bag.
See, there was one other thing I wanted to say was Fangle the Clown says, hi, howdy. They made it to Memphis. So they are there. They're at their Airbnb. Fantastic news. He made it safe. Great. Want to say happy birthday to Jada Elaine, our granddaughter, one more time, turned 18 today. That was her walking in the door, her and her mother, Angela, from the driver's test. Congratulations, Angela. You're now legal to drive. Pastor Ted. Fantastic. So,
Everybody else, stay off the road. Ah!
yep, exactly. Okay, Randy. Gosh, man, this has been a fantastic show.
Always great, man. We have the best people helping us out and connecting. It's just phenomenal. It's it's beautiful, guys. Thank you. It really is.
Yep.
It's a beautiful
I
thing
might
to do.
I might give Charlie an extra big hug when I see him in Memphis because he's always there to help us out. Thank you for posting that link, Charlie. Appreciate it very much. Makes it easier for other folks to find it and run and grab it and go from there. So, okay, Randy, I think we've covered everything pretty well today.
Another Monday comes to a close. Wow.
Yep. Yep. I want to say thank you to my wife, Carol McMasters, again for filling in for Angela today while she took Jada to get her driver's
Great
test
job.
done and driving portion done. Did a fantastic job. Boy, am I so lucky to have 3 wonderful women in the house and my son-in-law, David. I just want to give kudos to him. He went through training last week, got a new job, went through training last week, and is really excited about his new job and the prospect of their future and his future with the company that he's with. So congratulations to him. Yeah, we're all a family. You're family, we're all family, and we love that. Now then, again, for those who are coming to Memphis, bring your clause cards. That way we can all trade. Everyone's been seeking Scott Seriton, Santa Scott's cards. He hasn't really sent any out, but he's willing to trade in person. And I'm going to have to mention that Russell Hurd called me the other day and he says, "What's up with Scott? I've told him time and time and time again, I need to trade cards with him. He's just not doing it." He said, "Here, get his address for me. I'm going to send my card to him. And in that envelope will be a self-addressed envelope with a stamp on it back to me. All he's got to do is slip a card in it, stick it together, and send it." So anyway, I'm gonna have to get him to do that because I know Russ is not going to Memphis. All right, guys, thank you so much for joining us today. It's been a fantastic Monday. Happy birthday again to the granddaughter. And those of you who will be traveling either by air or by vehicle to Memphis, safe travels. May the Lord be with you. May He look over you. May everyone arrive safely. We all have a great time in Memphis, disperse and get back home safely. Thank you for another fantastic Monday, Randy.
Thank you guys again, everybody. Thank you, Carol. Great job, Bob. Thank you, and all our people that join in. Thank you so much. Love you guys. You guys are phenomenal. Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Till next Monday. And don't forget to join us tomorrow night. Got Heidi Tibbles, Santa Costume UK, some of the nicest suits out there.
Wow.
Bye.
Bye.